All right, welcome everyone. This is my first live stream of a tarot reading. I should probably put that in the comments. Tarot reading for the collective. Thanks to everyone joining. If there are any questions that come up, let me know. I will do my best to look at the screens while I do this. So we're using the Animal Spirit deck for the Wild Unknown, which is one of my favorites. And we're just going to ask what the reading for the collective is. What messages do we have for anyone who watches this? What messages do we have for anyone who watches this? You can say something in the comments if it resonates. If it doesn't, we're going to start with this card jumped out. So I'm going to start with this one, which is the Eagle. Eagle is in the air sign. The Eagle reads, all-pervading power, truth seeker, transforms karma. The noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the ride. You are stronger than you think, eagle child. When in balance, bright, radiant challenges. When out of balance, controlling. To bring into balance, step into the unknown. I mean, this is pretty timely. It's really similar to the reading it did last week. But this is way more empowering. I had been reading a lot of astrological readings about letting go of control. So much of our lives have been being able to control things, whether it's going out to the store whenever we want, or everything has been so easily accessible. And so we feel like we're lacking that ability to control things. And so we're feeling out of balance because we want to feel like we want to control everything. And so to bring into balance, step into the unknown. And for a lot of us, it's going to be really hard to just surrender and to take a leap of faith. And going back into, it said, truth seeker transforms karma, both physically and spiritually strong, mastery over the elements, thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation, pushed to be our best and brightest selves, and stops at nothing to see us shine. So if there's anything that comes up during this time, go with it. So if there are anything from the past that comes up that maybe you didn't deal with before, or if it's like a karmic cycle, just be aware of it and know that there's transformation by going through it. And surrendering to a greater power. So this Eagle card, all-pervading power, truth seeker, transforms karma. Really utilize the month of April is supposed to be a time where we really step into our truth and into our power and be able to uncover our talents and our gifts that maybe we didn't have access to before because we've always been going and doing and all these things that life has filled up our schedules with. Now we actually have the space to sit back and really examine, well, what brings me joy and what haven't I allowed into my life? that is now coming back in, and you're realizing how exciting it is and how much you love doing these things and connecting with certain people. And so really trusting this time and utilizing this space to tap into the unknown and tap into this power. Yeah, I highly recommend looking up the astrology around April, specifically around energy on Friday. If you're into numerology, it's 444. It's April 4th, 2020. So when you add 2 and 10, that you want to bring change into the world, whether that's individually or collectively. So that was our first card. Again, if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and throw them in the comments. If something resonates, let me know. The swan is effortless creativity, sensitive mystic, elegant power, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there, to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. When in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, agitated, snippy, lacking vision. To bring into balance, solo time writing. So again, with this, we have this time now, we have this space, and maybe instead of filling it up with things that you would normally do, so if you normally have the TV on, or if you normally Netflix and chill, taking time to just be alone and be with your thoughts and see what comes up. I have really been enjoying them as opportunities for growth. And so if we don't take notice of those quote unquote failures or opportunities to learn, then it's just going to keep coming up in our lives until we learn that lesson. So I look at the challenges that I had that day and try to see the lessons that I learned in them. And in the mornings, it's been a variance of asking questions and sitting in silence with them and hearing what comes up, or utilizing the cards and asking questions, or just like I did today and say, what messages do you have for me? And then I'll journal on the cards that came up and what came up energetically for me in those readings. And then I also tend to just free write. If anybody has read The Artist's Way, you can just set a timer or set a number of pages that you want to fill up and just let yourself go and see what comes up in your body and your mind and through to the paper, through the pen or pencil. I've had some really great breakthroughs through that and been able to come to places of forgiveness that I didn't feel before. So journaling practice, I think, is a great thing to experience right now, particularly if you don't have a good connection to your intuition, or if you're not taking time for yourself during this. If you're a mother, if you're around a bunch of family, and maybe it's not journaling for you, maybe it's just drawing or painting or some other creative space that you can live. And as the world and Pachamama, but us individually, we're also going through a rebirth. So I was birthed through this process or this time. I'd been doing them before, but wasn't offering them on a regular basis to people. And I am very grateful to be doing this and to be able to share messages with people and hopefully some guidance around this time of so much uncertainty. So being able to take the power back into your life and give yourself some space. The turtle says, Turtle Honu, ancient soul, strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life, no matter where. Most potent turtle energy helps us close all other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, peaceful, adventurous, and productive. When out of balance, slows down to a halt to bring into balance an adventure. And I know that an adventure might seem impossible in this time, but there are so many other ways to adventure besides leaving your home. And maybe you do leave your home and you take a drive somewhere and you just don't get out of your car. That's a possibility to go on an adventure. This is also a grieving space that I realized that today, and taking the time to slow down is what we are also being called to do. So I'm realizing I'm saying a lot. I'm trying not to. Yeah, and an adventure can even be in your home. I saw somebody did a Zoom meeting where they had a scavenger hunt to start their Zoom meeting. And so utilizing the space within your home to create an adventure. There are a bunch of Quakes players who are setting up obstacle courses within their homes for their kids, and that's their PE, and they're, doing the obstacle courses with their kids. So it's really cool to see. So if you're feeling out of balance, then creating some adventure in your life, whether that's at home or outside, so long as you're social distancing. The other things that came up in reading this was the most potent turtle energy helps us close all other books and begin to tell our own true tale. So again, I've talked about this time being a space of reflection and going inward and really looking at what is driving you and what you actually want. I think so many of us have lived our life based on our parents' expectations and trying to seek validation through what we do. And I know for me in particular, trying to seek validation from my parents, my mom in particular, in the way that I do things, and like kind of looking back and like, are you proud? Are you proud yet? When really I need to be doing things for myself and what brings me joy and makes myself proud. If I shared with her that I was doing this, she'd probably think I was crazy, and that's okay. I don't think I'm crazy. I think it's pretty cool. So, but telling your own true tale, telling your story, being tapped into water elements, so being able to flow and recreate and mold and bend, and being a force, but also being able to move easily through things, while also simultaneously having earth element. So being able to ground, to be time. And so utilizing the space to maybe collect stories, whether it's collecting stories from your past or collecting stories from this time and saving them for later and utilizing them as anecdotes or lessons for later. Closing the chapter on feeling like always need to be doing and maybe opening the chapter on just being, do nothing, and letting whatever comes up in that space come up in that space. So yeah, really, really beautiful time to go inward, to discover, to write your story in this space. What we do is done from the subconscious. So it's comes from our learned behavior, our childhood, things that happened within our development years that drives why we do most of the things that we do. And that card is the moth. I pulled this card. Very interesting. The moth says, I think I would know where it is in this book since I pulled it so much. Impulsive, hasty, shiny, and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When in balance, enthusiastic, whimsical. When out of balance, idealizes others, jittery. To bring into balance, finish a project. So a number of things came up when reading this. Idealize others, jittery, making sure that you're getting some sort of meditation practice in during this time, especially with so many different emotions that were coming through. Being able to just sit and be with them without judgment is a prime time to do, whether it's 3 minutes meditation, 5 minutes. If you can sit and just be still and hold space for yourself during this time, I think is ideal and will kind of calm those jitteries. The idealizes others that comes up, trying to, as much as social media can be a great way for us to connect during this time, also staying off of it if we can, setting limits to ourselves. Because in that space, we can tend to idealize others, compare ourselves. And if you are going to be in those spaces, just being aware of that, hearing the thoughts in your head. I catch myself doing it sometimes. I think I was reading in the Discover section on Instagram, something about Kylie Kardashian or Kylie Jenner came up, and the immediate reaction was, she's not self-made. And then I had to catch myself and think, why am I judging her? Am I just jealous? And then starting to unpack that and just instead uplift her and say, like, that's amazing that she is the fifth richest celebrity in the world, and shares a spot with Jay-Z, and that, yeah, just starting to change the voices in your head and starting to change the way that we react to things. This is the space to do it. And so the other thing that came up was the moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. So much of life has been, we'll just take a pill for that, or find the easy way to do things. When things get difficult, we want to stop, we want to complain. And instead of stopping and complaining, stop and think about what you can learn from this, what you can grow from this, versus just looking for the easy way out. And things will begin to get easier when we put in the work. Particularly, I think of all the events that I've put on, and at first you're like, how do I do this? How do I put on an event? And then at some point, after doing so many, you get used to the boxes you're supposed to check off, things to be made aware of before you plan the event. You're already aware of certain before. So not wanting to, this is a time where nothing is easy. We're feeling lots of things. We're being asked to look at our life in a different way. We're being asked to re-examine how we do things and not just survive, and not just survive, but thrive. And so we're being asked to look at maybe the not so easy route in that, because things the way we always did. So we're being forced to look at why we do what we do and how to change that and how to create change within our lives to be more sustainable and to live collectively, not just as humans, but with the bees and the plants and the air. How do we all survive and thrive together? I'm seeing such joy. The pandemic is done. I really hope so. Maybe we won't be on the same schedules as people, but coordinating with people and tapping into our community more and recognizing that our walls between us are just that. They're just walls, but collectively we're in this together. And not just in the pandemic, but we're in this life together. And we're all here together for a reason at the same time. So let's figure out, one, what our reason is in being here, because you're not a mistake. You're meant to be here at this time. and how can we build community and continue that. I'm going to pull is a mantra card. This is from the deck, The Universe Has Your Back. To what I was just saying of seeing communities come together in this time, whether it's younger neighbors going to ask their old. So much we have feared our neighbors, not knowing their stories, and now we're connecting, realizing that we're all just humans. We all have stories, and now being able to tell our stories, being able to connect and understand that we're all going through the same thing and what it is to feel all at the same time. And so if we can come from a place of love and trust instead of fear and fear of the unknown, embrace the unknown. And I talked about this in one of my posts is, what do you hope for the future? What do you wish the world to look like after this is done? Start envisioning that and coming from a place of love and coming from your heart space instead of being fearful of what could happen. Trying to be a good vibes only kind of feel. That's not what I'm doing. That's what we've been taught to do so far, is to run away, and it got us here. So maybe we stop running and sit with them where they come from. Loving your neighbors and offering anything that you can if someone just needs to talk, or if someone does need groceries and you have something that they might need, using this space to, while you're physically distancing, emotionally connecting. So make sure you love, cast out fear, because fear just creates scarcity and it creates lack. And we need abundance and love more than ever. Just because I have something doesn't take it away from you, especially in love and abundance. So love, trust, go inward. Know that we're going to get through this. Envision the world that you want to see after this, and create your own story. So hopefully this resonated with you. It's on my YouTube. It's on IG for the next 24 hours. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to do a one-on-one reading, let me know. I've got a few spaces this week, and I'll offer it up again next week. So much love, many blessings. If you need anything and you don't want a tarot reading and you just want to talk, I'm here for that too. But I see you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Peace.